We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Looks like Gervonta Davis does not believe a lot of the boxers' excuse for pulling out of fights and turning down fights and quitting fights in terms of mental health. That's what we'll talk about in this video. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Gervonta Davis on his verified page said, quote, boxers gotta stop using, quote, mental health-ish to get out of your stuff or to get out of stuff. Yo, is just a bitch. So Tank ain't trying to hear that. Listen, I know this is a sensitive subject, but I understand both sides. I understand that there needs to at times be situations where people withdraw from the public and get their head straight and get their mind right. But on the same token, I can understand people like Gervonta Davis and what he's saying as well, because at the end of the day, he's making a great point as well. And I would hate to see the sport of boxing turn into this, where we already have monkeypox and Rona and various things. They said West Nile and malaria, all types of stuff have been spotted recently. And there's enough for people to worry about. Boxing is still a sport. And then you have people who are getting paid millions, but then also pulling out, citing they have anxiety and mental health. I just hope that is not the trend. What I do want, and I think that makes more sense to kind of bridge the gap, because if people need help, they need help. I'm not trying to be non-sympathetic to whatever people are going on. But when you sign a contract and you say you're going to be at this fight on this date, things like that, you have to take all that into consideration. You know, it's just like, it's no different than really kind of making the weight. You got to be a consummate professional. It's like people buy a credit card, or people get credit cards, and then they make the charges and charge using the credit card. And some people act like they don't have to pay the money back. And that's not going to work. You signed up for this credit card and suggested that you would be able to pay back this loan and make your monthly payments to the lender. You know, that's just the reality. So we're just talking about overall responsibilities. So what's happening is people are doing it backwards. Again, I'm not saying you can't take care of yourself, but don't sign up for a fight. I think that's a good middle ground. Don't sign up for, if you like, again, most situations, people know or have some idea of what's going on in their life or what's going wrong. And, you know, some people handle it different, I guess you could say, but you got a situation like Broner recently, and he's on Cigar Talk. He's posting memes, acting regular, saying he's training. And then the week of the fight, like literally the week of the fight, he pulls out. For some people, that's always going to be fishy. So I don't really know. If there's something wrong with Broner, I wish him a speedy recovery, but I really, truly understand both sides of the coin. And I don't know. I don't know how do we really rectify this situation. I haven't given too much thought to it. This is kind of something emerging, but I just hope this doesn't become a pattern. So I really understand Gervonta. I mean, Gervonta said it's super savage, but I think that's a testament to where he's from. He's a kid. He's like a tough kid from Baltimore, where he had his mans who passed away before his fight, and he still fought. So can you imagine a friend of yours dying, and you got the city on your back, you got his memory, you know, these different things, and yet and still you still fight. You know, the same thing happened to Jake Paul as well. Jake Paul, I believe, had a bodyguard who passed away right before one of his fights, maybe the Ben Askren or T. Woodley fight, one of the two. And, you know, this is kind of what you sign up for and say you can, but we just know boxers as being tough. So by signing on the dotted line, you're basically saying that I'm cool and I'm ready to go. And my other issue with this is people sometimes will abuse. I think that's one of my biggest issues with this, is sometimes people will abuse these passes. And I'm not saying this is not directed at any specific person, because multiple fighters have used mental health recently as far as saying that they weren't cool to fight. But in general, it's just like anything else. I remember I used to work at a credit card company, and at this credit card company, at the time, they were saying anthrax was out, right? And people were saying, oh, I didn't pay my credit card. Kind of going back to the example I used earlier in this video. Some of the people were saying they couldn't pay their credit card because they got anthrax, or they didn't want to open their mail, so they didn't know their bill was late. Stuff like that. And a lot of times that was just people, I would assume, watching the news, and they were late on their payment, and they were looking for kind of a scapegoat, a patsy, to explain away why they didn't pay their credit card on time. You know what I mean? So when things like this become popularized, it really kind of takes away from even the Rona. I think the Rona is the same situation. Yes, the Rona is very serious. Some people have lost their life for it, and I'm not undermining that. But do I think every single person who pulled out of one of their fights from March 2020 to present day, and they cited the Rona as the reason why they pulled out? I definitely don't think every single situation the person really and truly pulled out because they had Rona. You know, that's just my personal opinion. There's a couple fights I could think of where that was the reason given, was Rona, and there was a pullout. And, you know, there's just no way to corroborate that, you know, to see if it's true. And that's kind of where we're at with the mental health stuff, is people can now, with what's going on in boxing, people will be able to forever use mental health. And it's something that's probably pretty hard to prove either way, you know, because Omar Figueroa said he doubted it, and he challenged kind of Broner to show proof. But that's confidentiality. You know, anytime you speak with physicians or doctors, so they can't go on record without your consent and speak about your case, because that would be a breach of the confidentiality agreements that are in place between a patient and a practitioner or a doctor or whatever, right? And if Broner, you know, or whoever, Ryan Garcia, they're not going to show nothing. So it's just like, I don't know. It's a crazy world we live in. Tank said fighters got to stop using mental health. And I know he's cool with Broner, so the timing is obviously when Broner's going through his thing. I don't know. Maybe he just feels like in general, because it kind of felt like he was saying that towards Ryan Garcia, and Gervonta might have been saying it to Broner. Maybe he's just, I don't know. I can't speak for Tank. So it just seems like he's not accepting that as an excuse. And at the end of the day, I think there has to be some type of middle ground. That's really my statement on it. You know, we have to establish the rules and guidelines, because I've been depressed and I wasn't making millions, and I was still going to work. And because I signed up, this is my job. You see what I'm saying? And I had to just force myself and fight through the 8-hour, 10-hour shift, despite all the personal turmoils and things that were going on and things that were wrong with my life. And really, I'm not saying this is the way to handle it, different strokes for different folks, but I'm just saying, for me personally, I could think of a time where I was riddled with anxiety and things weren't looking good. I had a lot of stuff that wasn't really working and looking up in my favor at life at that given moment. And for me, I still kept trucking. And like I said, the sport of boxing, the boxers are almost expected to, when they're hurt and in pain from a nasty liver shot, a body shot or something, they're expected to kind of mask it. So again, it's a real touchy subject. Different people are going to feel different ways about it. I'm sure you guys have your own comments. Gervonta Davis told you what he feels. He says boxers got to stop using that. He doesn't really seem that he's on board with fighters using that as an excuse as to why they couldn't make it. And for some of the reasons I provided here, I do understand it. For one, you have to be a consummate professional. If you have so much going on in your life, you didn't know that when you signed the contract. you know? And these things make people feel that there's possibly other reasons. You know, like, I don't know. I just feel that like there has to be something. If people are going to use mental health, did you go talk to somebody and then they deem that you're mentally not fit? Like, there has to be some kind of, or like boxing needs to, instead of just having a ref and judges and things like that, if people are going through all these ailments and mental anguish and these type of things, then they need to appoint a ringside therapist. And then just like medicals, where if they notice you can't see or you have areas in your vision of blindness, they won't let you fight. Or they look at your brain scans and see that through your CAT scans and MRIs and different things show that you have like CTE or whatever, they won't let you fight. If you have certain, that's what happened to Edwin Valero. Edwin Valero got, I believe it was a motorcycle accident, and that's why he started fighting in Mexico, because he couldn't really fight in America anymore because no one would actually grant him a license. So he just continued his career outside of the US because he couldn't get a license. So maybe that's an idea. If fighters, health is wealth, I do believe that. So if fighters are going to keep using this and say mental health, then boxing needs to appoint somebody like a therapist or a questionnaire or something, because it looks like this is just becoming a go-to thing where now everyone can pull out of fights and say, nah, I'm not fighting. Like literally Broner, for example, he pulled out the week of the fight. Ryan Garcia announced the fight, and within 7 days, 11 days, he pulled out, like basically the next week. So I just feel like there has to be some kind of middle ground where if you sign up for something and you're signing up to get millions, you're signing up for the main event, all to pull out because of, and then like I said, it's a touchy subject, so I know different people are going to feel different ways, but Buster Douglas is a person that comes to mind, and his mom literally died 2-3 weeks before his actual fight. Floyd Mayweather was getting sued right before the Maidana fight by his ex-fiancée, Miss Jackson, and then they had issues with ABORTION, right? There was all kinds of things that came up. She said this, and I'm not going to get into his legal mumbo jumbo, but Floyd Mayweather had all these types of things going on. Before the Cotto fight, Floyd Mayweather he knew he actually had to get the jail stint pushed back because he was already supposed to do 90 days in jail, but based on his profession, they extended it and allowed him to fight Miguel Cotto. So just imagine that pressure. You're fighting a Hall of Famer, a guaranteed Hall of Famer like Miguel Cotto, and right before the fight, you have this plea agreement or whatever that you do, and you know you have to, for the first time in your life, go to prison for 90 days. Even though that's not the longest sentence, it's not like a 25-year bid, it's still, what millionaire wants to go to prison? Especially if they haven't been in and out the system since a young age. You see what I'm saying? And Floyd Mayweather fought with all this type of duress and things like that. So, you know, I understand both sides of the coin. I understand what Gervonta Davis is saying and why he's saying it. We just have to find some kind of middle ground. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, SLC. Subscribe, like, and comment. That is the latest. That's what Gervonta Davis had to say. And, you know, let me know what you guys think. Are fighters using this too much? If they sign up, is it unprofessional to pull out and then cite mental health issues? You guys let me know that in the comments.
Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks.
The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready. with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.
Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.